back on your screens once again with another enlightening conversation. It's the Meet Your Mentor TV show, your favorite youth television program. My name is Daniela Asariudu, and we're coming to you from the Central University Mataheko campus. My makeup was done by Nodi's Makeover, and we're being refreshed by Cheesy Pizza. My mentor for today is a young, driven tech enthusiast and an entrepreneur, but I'll tell you more about him right after this break. You're welcome back. Moses Acquah is my mentor for today. He's an entrepreneur and a tech enthusiast. He's the head of technology at Grundfos and the founder of Afrolynk. This is a man who's had successful career journeys with Nokia, with Microsoft. This is a man doing exploits within the technology space, and I cannot wait for you to meet him. Please help me welcome Moses Acquah. Hello.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Acquah, thank you so much for giving us a chance to have this conversation.
Thank you.
Technology, engineering, has this always been the space where you wanted to be from the beginning? And how did your journey from the beginning lead you through to that?
Well, that's a very good question. I would say that it started being a very stubborn kid, breaking things, and being forced to fix them when I break them.
Right.
But I would say technology in particular wasn't like the path for me. My dad always wanted us to become business people, in the sense that he was an engineer and he never felt like engineers are appreciated. Mm-hmm. So back in the days, we had to, all of us, including all my extended family members, had to do business. So it was really difficult to convince him to go into tech. But I think that's the beauty of it was I was always a handy person trying to fix things until an opportunity came where the studies that I did in the university, which was information studies at that time, was probably, I would say, misunderstood to be information technology. And that forced me to get into technology. And that led me to moving to the US and then to India to study more of IT.
Mm-hmm. You went to school in Ghana, did you?
Yes.
So right after that, did you travel outside the country?
Yes, so I would say to all the Absunians and Augusto people, I just want to say it's always a pleasure to let the school go through you and not to just go through the school. So I was one of the people that I allowed the school to go through me. Mm-hmm. I studied business at that time, like I said, and moved to the University of Ghana, where I was doing information studies and psychology. And at that time, there was a scholarship for IT students, or I would say computer science students. Mm-hmm. But I applied. And I was, like IS and IT is totally different, right? But again, these are where I call opportunities and chances sometimes come our way. So I applied and luckily I got it. So I left for an exchange to Webster University in the US. And that was, I think, my third year or so. So I was there, had an experience, and then I realized that I really want to do IT. At that time, that was when I realized that it's important to move from just I'll call it the general arts into proper IT. And my boss then told me, if you want to be an IT guru, go to India. And I don't know, I mean, those days, maybe now it's different, but those days when someone says I want to go to India, it's a no, no, no. So I came back to Ghana and I was really determined to go to India. My parents, even though they would say differently probably now, but they didn't agree. But I forced myself, went to India, and that was where I started studying on the street. So I was doing what we call street studies. So I would work in a company that that hired me through ISEC. But then I would go to school, either in the morning before going to work, or then after work, go to school again. Right. So I did it more of a street studies, I will put it that way.
Okay. I saw an interview with you and DW. Yeah. And in which you mentioned that you stayed in Finland. Yes. for some time, and then you went through, the various phases, yes. How you search for jobs, etc., etc. Can you share that with us?
Absolutely. So after leaving India, I moved to Finland, and again, I have to say, there's one thing that's for me is one key lesson: never underestimate the power of asking. You know, biblically they even say, ask, seek, knock. You need to approach.
Right.
So what happened was I reached Finland. I didn't have my bachelor's degree at that time yet because, you know, you've been traveling around, you haven't even come back home to pick your certificate from the University of Ghana. But I went to this lady in the university and I said, hey, I think I'm very good in IT. And again, there's one thing also I want to say. No matter what your level is, you need to tell yourself you're good. You don't have to first compare yourself to someone to tell yourself you're good. Mm-hmm. So it might be that you are here, but that is how good you are.
Right.
So first and foremost, I'll call it the law of attraction, positive thinking. So I walked in, no certificate, no degree. Went in and I said, hey, I think I'm very good in IT. I studied on the streets in India. I worked here, showed that I did my internship with Vanguard Assurance at that time, and said, I want an admission to do my master's. She said, but if you don't have your papers, how do we admit you? So I was admitted for 1 year, by the way, without any degree papers. So she said, okay, I'll let you go in. Whenever you get home to Ghana, bring us your papers, then you can continue. So again, if I had to go through the normal process, I would never have been able to even get an admission. I know it's sometimes we'll say in Ghana it's not possible, but always there are exceptions. So always make yourself the exception. Walk in, be bold, seek with humility, of course, not to be arrogant. And I think normally it works. So fast forward, through the studies, I got a job in Nokia, where I was working in Nokia. But it wasn't just like a jump from school and you just get there. Because I was hustling, I was washing dishes, I was cleaning. Even sometimes I would say you have to do it under the table. I don't want to go in detail, but just to survive. That means that it wasn't like it was a silver platter. It was really hard work. And through that, I got into Nokia as an engineer, so that's where I started really getting to know a bit more.
Do you think that if you had stayed in Ghana, you'd have had these opportunities, especially in the tech space?
That's a very good question. So I'll say yes and no, and I want to be very honest. I don't think I would have had these kind of opportunities. I think maybe Ghana is out, and again, I'm generalizing. I think right now things are changing. Right. So people are beginning to adapt and accept different things. But back in those days, you needed to have a certain standard. You needed to have a certain paper. It was all about where is your certificate, where is your degree, where is this. So we were not judged by what we could do. It was more about what they could see on paper. It doesn't mean that because someone is book smart and someone like us is street smart, we are not able to succeed. Right. But we just need to always take the battles that we can fight. And I think that I believe strongly that Ghana has, and it's still changing, to adapt things. So I would say it wouldn't have been that easier during that time. But at the same time, I would say also, we've seen successful people in Ghana irrespective of whether they've moved out or stayed in. Right. So it's also about the individual and the push in that sense. Yeah. So
you sort of ushered me into my next question. What do you think we can do as a nation to help the many other Moses Acquahs out there who have the passion for technology, the passion for IT, but are not seeing the opportunities around them? What can we do as a nation to create opportunities for them?
So I would say that I call it a tip. So we need the right infrastructure for the technology. The tech part we need to definitely put, and this is where I will appeal directly to the telcos. The telcos, unfortunately, hold our gateway to technology success. If the telcos make it difficult, we can never be able to advance. And it is a fact. Right now, for instance, we have 4G. If we don't have the tools and the devices, which we call the IoTs, Internet of Things, we cannot consume as much data as they want us. Right. At the same time, if they make it difficult, we cannot. So, of course, the telcos, I really reach out and say, please help us enable those kind of infrastructure. I know the government is supposed to do, but it also comes down to the telcos. Innovation. This is where I would say, and again, anyone born in the 90s have a different way of thinking. Anyone born in the 20s have a different way of thinking. But in the 80s, we're told no. If you do something, it's no, no, no. But I think we should be open to allowing people to be innovative. We should be open to making people be more creative. And we should, again, one major thing, we should be told that what we do here is better. It's not because it comes from outside that makes it better. And I think that mindset should change. The last bit is the policy. So policy in terms of we put in the right people in place that can help in advancing policy. I mean, I don't want to go into politics or whatever, but we all are part of the policy making. If young people would demand, for instance, hey, we want technological changes. We want, policies that would help us, for instance, in school, change certain things. I mean, we talk about we are learning computer science in school, but how many computers are there? We talk about let's do programming. How many code do we actually write ourselves? So it's also up to us to start demanding. And I mean, I say this with I would say, with all humility, but at the same time, nowadays you can go to YouTube and you can learn almost everything. So if the young chap can also look at YouTube, you should be able to demand from your teachers that, hey, we want to learn more, we want to push for more, and build that policy, especially even in our education, so that it's no longer the old, again, the back British old, educational structures. Now let's make it the Ghanaian one, something that really makes us, move forward.
Right.
So the tip factor is very important. Right. Technology, innovation, and policy.
And policy, that's really, really important. I do pray that the people who matter are listening and can take tips from this tip that has been shared here today. This is the Meet Your Mentor TV show. We're interacting with Moses Acquah, who's a tech enthusiast and the founder of Afrolynk. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. This is the Meet Your Mentor TV show. My name is Daniela Asaridu. We're coming to you from the Central University Matahiko campus. My makeup was by Nodi's Makeover. Check out on Instagram. We're being refreshed by Cheesy Pizza. Reach Cheesy Pizza on 026 4133 397. That's 026 4133 397. They are across the city. They have various outlets across the city. I'm interacting with Moses Acquah, who's a tech enthusiast and the founder of Afrolynk. I want you to share with us your journey throughout Nokia and Microsoft. I would dare say that these are model companies that any tech enthusiast like yourself would love to work. Share with us what the work culture is over there and how that impacted in your career journey. Right.
So I would say back in school when I had just joined this university doing my first master's degree in engineering, it started as an internship. And when it started as an internship, the whole idea was for me to definitely grow. So first and foremost, it's an environment where it enables you to grow.
Okay.
Of course, and I'm going to say this also without any apologies, if you're an African or if you're a foreigner, you need to do 3 to 4 times more than your competitors, right? So you need to always be, I'll say 4 steps ahead. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. It's also for validation, because of course you're wondering, is he able? And I mean, let's put all the racial things aside. Sometimes when you don't know someone, you want to be sure if the person is able. So I had to also make sure that I'm 4 times ahead so that you are, in quote, also relevant. Fast forward, over time, I also realized that there are changes. Before you move up the ladder, and that's one thing I've said, people are not entitled to promotion just because you've been there many years. You're only entitled to promotion when you have the capability and the capacity to move forward. And so for that also, I actually did a couple of master's degree as well again, to have the knowledge. And I would say knowledge in the sense that it wasn't just because I was looking for a paper, but I needed the knowledge that can help me move. So over time, I moved to do a bit of project management. That's why I went into agile coaching. And then over time, needed to do an MBA because I wanted to also be able to manage a team. So back in Nokia, I became head of innovation for West Africa. And I would say one funny thing, when my boss said, "You're going home," I was like, "Yeah, I'm coming to Ghana," but then it was Nigeria. And of course, for them, home is Africa, so you're coming home.
Right.
So I moved to Nigeria, I think back in 2012, thereabout. And then unfortunately, Nokia had to be acquired by Microsoft.
Okay.
So then we were either supposed to go back to Finland or then figure out how we stay in the new company. And I opted to stay because home was home, right? You're in Africa. So that was how I moved to become the Ghana market manager for Microsoft in terms of mobile. And I would also say one thing to our viewers out there. It's very important to understand the journey, especially for tech people, the journey of how product gets to the hands of the customer.
Right.
So for me, I had been a pure engineer to a project manager to creativity, which is innovation, but it was until when I started selling that I got to understand that sometimes you might have the best technology, but it's crap to the user.
Yeah.
So that journey helped me to understand, okay, Ghanaians want to buy phones. What kind of phones do they want to buy? What kind of payment mechanism do they want to use to pay? Is it loans? What is it? And we need to then understand. So if you're a startup out there, I just want to advise you, tech is great, but one key thing is we need technology that makes us more human, not less human.
Right.
So if you have a complicated technology, imagine you're wearing something on top of your head so that you can be able to navigate. It doesn't make you more human. You will not use it. So you need to understand your customer to make it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us about Afrolynk and,
Right.
and the concept that inspired it for you.
Right. So Afrolynk is a tech and entrepreneurship venture or impact venture. The reason why I personally started Afrolynk was out of gratitude and guilt. Gratitude in the sense that, I said this to your producer. When we were in school, I was not the first class greatest student. I was a hustler, We try to make it. We don't get last. We are in between, And to be given that opportunity to get a scholarship and to be able to rise, for me, Afrolynk was give the same opportunity to fellow brothers and sisters. So Afrolynk, the whole idea was to connect African entrepreneurs with European entrepreneurs, bring them together, have policymakers, governments, presidents, all come, understand, have a dialogue. Because a lot of times we only think of the money bit. But the point is, the dialogue is the most important thing. If you want to have a customer, you need to engage. And so that was how I started Afrolynk. And I have to say, we are now getting to the 6th year, which I have also, maybe this will be my first day announcing this publicly. We've done a lot of series of engagements where we give opportunity for young people to come all the way to Germany. COVID has made it impossible. So last year, our 5th one, we did a virtual event where we were able to go global. But we feel that there is a different thing. And again, like I said, I really want to give back because it's also guilty. When you were not the one who deserved it, but you got it. So my hope for this year, for especially Afrolynk, is to do what I call a return. So we would be rather opening up for young entrepreneurs to rather sign up instead of we doing a conference and get the likes of big companies like Microsoft, Nokia, Grundfos, the likes of GIZ, the likes of all the bigger World Bank, all the people that are interested in supporting young entrepreneurs to say, look, don't pay Afrolynk this year to come to Berlin and have the great time. Just buy your own ticket, fly down to Ghana, and be with an entrepreneur, startup, even if it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, stay with them, support them. So this year we are not going to do the typical conference where we ask startups or individuals to pay their flights to come. But this time around, all we are saying is just sign up, say, I'm interested to have someone, a mentor like yourself, to support them. And I believe that if we give and share the knowledge, we'll see success. And one last thing I would say, for me is that I believe in the power of Africa. I believe that we can do everything. We are better, we are great, and we can do things. And it's about time we have a mental shift of everything produced in Africa is bad. And actually, that's one of the reasons why I said I don't want to wear a suit on your show. I wanted to have an African wear. Because we see that every raw material comes from here. The only thing we are not doing is we are not teaching people how to produce out of it.
And how to use it.
Exactly. And it's about time. Look, and to all of you here, even if it would get broken, let's try it and let's rather improve it.
Before we take a question from our audience, I'd like to find out if you were sharing with us 3 values that have driven you till now and that will continue to drive you, what would those be?
The first one is, and I call it the law of attraction. Whatever you seek for yourself is what you get. And I don't mean the other ones, but all I mean is think positively. Positive thinking changes a lot of things. Our culture is a little bit on fear. There's a lot of superstition. My plea to everyone is rather be positive. When you think positive, things happen. And a lot of times you might be blinded of the negative things. But it's okay because it gives you a healthy mindset. So positive thinking is number 1. Number 2 is never give up. Success doesn't come on a silver platter. You need to rethink, you need to optimize, you need to retry. It's all about trying to make it happen. And if you are always having the zeal to not give up, the last thing is you need to also seek for knowledge. And when you seek for knowledge, it's not out of pride, it's out of humility. And that is, for me, the 3 key things that keeps me going.
We're so glad that you could share those with us. Positive thinking, humility, and never give up. Yeah. We'll take a question from our audience now.
I wanted to ask, what has been your considerations in your setbacks?
I would say the first thing is it's never been easy. There's always going to be setbacks. And like I said, I am more of a street smart than a book smart. A street smart person would always think of what if, what about. So when there are setbacks, instead of folding your arms and saying why I'm not good, I would rather say, is there a way this way? How can I look at it that way? And I have to say that it's very important you also align yourself, you associate yourself with good people around. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, and again, I'm going to also say it this way, you might not have the people you aspire to be very close to you, but thanks to technology, right, some of these good people might be on YouTube. And you also have to do what I call cherry picking. Don't take every statement as it is. Mm-hmm. Question it, challenge it. Take the ones that are good for you. And that's why I say I have this positive mindset, right? If I feel like there is a bit of, I just throw that one aside, right, and then go, And in that way, you are able to, you're able to leapfrog certain critical obstacles that come your way. You always need to think, how best can you make it work and be profitable and sustainable? And I think that's also one thing that people forget. If we really want to be more practical, we need to start measuring our inputs and our output. And again, when you start measuring, you yourself start to see that, okay, this is not worth it. That is where innovation comes in. That's where you become more creative. So for me, I say every time there is a setback, it's a challenge for an innovation. And this is where you need to really try to crack your head. Now we have a lot of WhatsApp group. Throw your challenge out there. A lot of people are, happy to contribute. Sometimes when I hear the radio stations, then they say, oh, there is this man and the wife and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, let's put business challenges out there. That's what I would do. Let's put, instead of the husband and the wife, and it's great. We love that, because it brings a lot of people to talk. But let's talk about, oh, by the way, this person is struggling with this business. What advice would you give to this person? You know, and if it's not a radio station, you have your WhatsApp group. So leverage on this and don't be shy. Failure is part of life. You know, and if we get to accept these things and not only pretend and show the beautiful things only on Facebook, I think we can definitely move forward in that sense.
Awesome. This has been absolutely enlightening, Mr. Acquah, and we're grateful that you could share this with us. We
Thank you.
Absolutely appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for doing the viewing at home. This has been the Meet Your Mentor TV show. My name is Daniela Asariedu, and we came to you from the Central University Mataheko campus. My makeup was done by Nodi's Makeover. Please check her out on Instagram. She's amazing. We're also being refreshed by Cheesy Pizza. They have branches all over the city, Adenta, Osu, Ring Road. Please reach out to them on social media as well. Until we come your way same time next week with another enlightening conversation, please do take care.